You may be wondering, why do I have rice and nuts in front of me? Well, it's a basic time management illustration, and let me explain it to you. This empty jar represents your day. Doesn't matter if you stay up late or get up early, you still have only 24 hours in a given day. The rice represent things that you do that are reactive. For example, the phone rings, you pick it up. An email is sent to you, you respond. Someone barges into your office with a quick question, you must answer. These are reactive elements. There's a lot of them in a day, but they're tiny. They don't take a lot of time. Therefore, the grain of rice represents one element. On the other hand, we have proactive things that we do in a day, represented by the nuts. And when I say proactive, I mean things like you have to plan them ahead of time. For example, coaching an individual, training an individual, spending some time on a presentation or report. It might take you longer, but you get a bigger return on your time investment. And there's less of them in a given day, therefore represented by the nuts. Now picture this. You're sitting at home on Sunday night planning your day, planning your week perhaps, and you start to put together a to-do list of things that you want to achieve when you get back to work on Monday morning. Monday morning arrives, it's now almost lunchtime, and you find yourself having done nothing of your list, and your list stays right there staring at you while you've been busy, but you feel like you've accomplished nothing. And that's basically an illustration of the rice taking over your day. You were busy answering calls, returning emails, chatting with people, perhaps answering some key questions. Not a total waste of time, but a lot of the reactive things that took part. And now with the best of intention, maybe you start to work while you're eating lunch and you say, I'm going to catch up. And you're trying to achieve doing all the things that you had planned to do, but you're left with a few that you may have to do tomorrow. And this sort of insanity starts all over again. So what can we do differently? The point is, let's say you only had 1 hour in a given day. You get to your office, you only have 1 hour. What would you do? A handful of rice or 1 or 2 nuts? And this is where you have to ask yourself the question, which of these gives me the best return on time investment? A simple example of this would be an employee that comes to you with a question that you could probably answer very quickly. You could do it for them very quickly. You've done it 100 times, and you know that if it's done by you, it'd be done properly and very efficiently. That might take you, let's say, 5 minutes to execute. On the other hand, you could take 25, 30 minutes to explain it to the employee and show them how to do it so they can become self-sufficient. And you may have to repeat this once or twice for them to really get the hang of it. On a short time scale, let's say on a day, it looks like doing the rice was the best thing. You did it yourself, it took 5 minutes, done. But what if you have this type of question multiple times a day, every day? You put this over a year period, you end up with many, many, many grains of rice. In fact, a mountain of rice, which could have been replaced by 1 or 2 nuts. And this is where time management comes in. Choosing to invest your time in something that gives you a better return on time investment. Let's reset this. All right, let's try this again. This time, we're going to put more emphasis on the things that are proactive. Therefore, I'm coming into work and I focus on the things that I know will give me a return on my time investment. And I'm putting all these things into the jar. And some of you are thinking ahead, thinking, I know what's going to happen next, but let me explain a little bit of the logic behind this. Let's say you go away on vacation for a whole week, and while you're gone on vacation, let's say you're gone for a whole week, you come back and there's tons of emails and voicemail and sticky note all over your desk. That's a big mountain of rice waiting for you. And as you start to go through these elements and you start to return phone calls and emails and talking to people, you realize that a lot of the things that perhaps a message that you received on Monday a week ago, someone called you back the next few days saying, don't worry, John, I took care of it. It's handled. That's a grain of rice that fell into place because you weren't there to give it priority. So let's try this time. So right now what I'm doing is it displays that the rice falls into place. It finds its way. Because you weren't there to give it priority, it found a solution on its own. And now, there we have it. The day is complete. We were more efficient in our usage of the time of day. But is that all the time that you have left in the day? In fact, I could refill this entire glass with water once again and pour it into this jar and it would find room. And this glass of water represents the time we waste in the day. Because there's a lot of things we do in the day that don't add any value. So, in retrospective, we have the proactive elements represented by the nuts. We have the rice, who represents the reactive elements. And we have the water, who represents the waste of time. If you focus on the proactive elements, the rice will fall into place, and there's always going to be some time you waste in the day. But this way, you bet that you have a better return on your time investment. So I hope you found this information relevant, informative, and useful. If you want more information like this, look us up at kaizenergyincorporated.com. Thank you.